Joining us today is Renato Marasco, Group Manager, Industrial Relations at Skilled Group Limited, who'll be speaking at IIR's Fair Work Summit 2011, which takes place on the 16th to 17th of May 2011 in Sydney. Hello Renato, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, James.
Can you start by explaining the relevant effects of national employment standards on business?
Yes, so look, the National Employment Standards, or the NES for short, are 10 minimum terms and conditions of employment which apply to all employees which are covered by the National Workplace Relations System, which is over 90% of employees in Australia. So the NES apply to every employee, regardless of their salary or seniority, and regardless of any award, agreement or contract of employment that would apply to the employee.
And how can you effectively address the requirement of each NES?
Well, I think it's important each employer must ensure that all of their employees are provided with the minimum standards of each of the 10 terms and conditions. So employers and companies need to review their contracts of employment and policies and procedures to ensure that they comply with the NES.
How have the NES worked for non-award employees and people with unusual working arrangements?
Well, it can be very challenging to apply the NES to people with unusual working arrangements. For instance, at Skill Group, we have a division called ProSafe. ProSafe provides on-hired medics to offshore oil rigs in Western Australia, and now those employees need to be taken to their place of employment by the weekly helicopter service to the oil rig, so it can be a challenge for us to comply with the annual leave requirements and also the maximum weekly hours of week requirements.
What's the relationship between NES and flexibility, both in the workplace and for large business in general?
Well, in this age, both employees and employers are seeking flexibility, so they're not locked into restrictive work practices. Employees, for instance, want the flexibility to work at times and places which suit not only their family responsibilities, but their other interests and needs. And employers, on the other hand, want a productive workforce that can work in an efficient and effective manner. Some of the NES standards give employees the right to request flexibility in terms of their place and hours of work. And the maximum weekly hours of work standard gives employers and employees the right to agree to arrangements for averaging of hours under an award or agreement.
You're speaking at IIR's Fair Work Summit 2011, which takes place on the 16th to 17th of May 2011 in Sydney. What will be the focus of your presentation?
The focus of my presentation will be on what steps business can take to comply with the NES. I'll also refer to the consequences of not complying with the minimum standard. I'll also deal with some practical ways in which Skill Group has dealt with compliance issues. We have over 25,000 employees in every state and territory of Australia. We have on-hired employees in industries ranging from nursing and call centres to heavy manufacturing and offshore and onshore mining.
Renato Marasco, many thanks for your time.
Thank you.